So you adopted siblings, and you notice that one day when the younger sibling gets hurt, you put your arms out ready for the child to come to you to get comfort, to get help, and the older child swoops in and kind of takes over that role. And the first time it happens, you think, oh, that's so sweet. They really care about their sibling. But then it happens again and again. And then you realize that this older sibling wants to be the one to read them books, to tuck them into bed, do all sorts of things that are kind of more of a parent type of task. And sometimes you might have to tell your younger child no to something they want. And that starts to make the older child really upset that you're not giving in to what the younger one wants. If any of this sounds familiar, you are likely dealing with parentification in your adopted child. Let's talk about what parentification is. And we did deal with a parentified child in our sibling adoption. And today I'm going to share some ways that you can help the parentified child slowly release some of those roles, allow you to be the parent, and how you can make them feel important and loved in the process. Hey, welcome back. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much for being here again. It is great to see you. And if you're new here, my name is Katie, and I am a mom to 3 kids who we adopted from foster care, and they are currently ages 6 to 14. And it just so happens that our older 2 children were biological siblings who we adopted together. And there are so many wonderful things about sibling adoption, and honestly, I recommend it to a lot of people, but there are also some challenges. If you missed last week's video, we talked all about what parentification is and how you can recognize it in your adopted child. So you can always go check that video out first if you want, but if not, I'm gonna give a quick recap just of what parentification means. So according to Psychology Today, parentification is when a child is forced to take on the role of a supportive adult within their family. And this usually happens when the parent, for some reason, cannot either practically take care of their child or emotionally cannot take care of their child or themselves. And so what happens is the child will step in and fulfill the role of the caretaker when really they should never have had to do that. And you'll notice this in any adopted child really can experience this, but I think especially in sibling groups, the older child may exhibit a lot of these behaviors because they feel responsible for their younger sibling, for protecting them and taking care of them, because that's what they did for so long. But in a healthy parent-child relationship, the parent is taking on the roles of the parent and the child is being a kid and playing and having fun. And sure, they might help with the occasional chore and they'll probably complain about it, but they're not taking on the main roles of running the household, getting all the things that come along with that. They should be able to be a kid and enjoy their childhoods. You only get one, right? And so helping an older child in a sibling adoption transition out of that parentified role can be quite challenging, but I have some tips today that helped us with our parentified child and hopefully you can benefit from as well. But really quickly, bear with me. I'm super excited because today is the launch day of Adopt Together. Adopt Together is a community for foster adoptive parents. Whether you are just beginning the process of adopting from foster care or you're somewhere within that first year of finalizing your adoption, this group is for you. Being an adoptive parent can be such a lonely experience. It can feel really confusing. It can feel intimidating at times, but it makes it so much better when you have other people to walk alongside you through the journey. And that is what this group is all about. So this is a private Facebook group in which there are monthly training videos, monthly worksheets to apply what you've learned. My very favorite part is the monthly group coaching call where all of us in the group will get together on a call face-to-face via a screen and talk through things that are really going on in your lives. So that is the part I am most excited about. And then we'll also, because it's that Facebook group, it's a really well-moderated group, that group exists for you to just go anytime you have a question or you need to vent or anything like that. You can go to that group and we will be there to walk alongside you. So this group is open today. I'm only keeping the doors open to the group for a limited amount of time because this is for my founding member launch. So anyone who joins now, you are going to be in my very first group of people. And I'm super excited because I think it's going to be a more intimate group. It's probably going to get larger and larger every time I open the doors. And this group is going to be the group that helps me really shape and mold the group. You will be able to have a say in how the group transforms moving forward. And I'm just really excited to invite people into this thing I've been working on for a very, very long time. So click the link in the description if you would like to join it. It is a $10 a month commitment. It is a faith-based group. Anyone of any background or religion is welcome to join. Just know we may reference scripture or prayer occasionally, but honestly, a lot of the times it's very similar to the videos I make on my channel day to day. Both foster and adoptive dads and moms are welcome to join this group. So get your spot today before our doors close so you can be one of the founding members. Let's jump into how to help our parentified older child in sibling adoption. One of the very first things that we did, and I actually think this is something we did right, was we made an effort to acknowledge to our daughter how much we noticed her love and care for her brother. And we thanked her. We thanked her for the ways that she kept him safe, that she helped him when he was sad, that she watched over him, because he needed that at the time. And we just told her we were really proud of her for the way that she stepped up into a role that she really should never have had to do, but she did. And I think that meant a lot to her, and it set a really good foundation to be able to kind of work away from the parentified role, because it wasn't like, hey, you're doing a bad thing. Because the truth is, it's not a bad thing to care for and love and protect your siblings, especially when you're in a situation where the adults aren't really taking care of you or you're moving place to place. I think it's wonderful that older siblings can do that. I'm the oldest sibling in my family, and I think it's just kind of natural that you want to help and protect your siblings. But kids in foster care often go above and beyond doing things they should never have had to even worry about. Another thing we did that helped our daughter is we set clear boundaries. And going along with the last thing I talked about of thanking them, we explained to them how they've taken on a role they never should have had to do. And we really emphasized that. We said, these are parent jobs and these are kid jobs. These are our responsibilities and these are yours. And we have a lot more responsibilities than you just because we're grown-ups. And honestly, those responsibilities can be kind of hard sometimes. And we just explained to our daughter how much we wanted her to be able to enjoy her childhood, because like I said earlier, you only get one in your life. Now, I think in every household, grown-up responsibilities versus kids' responsibilities are going to look a little different, because you may divide chores differently in your family, or you may have a bigger family where some of the older siblings do take on a couple roles to help out with the younger siblings. So I'm not going to give you an exact list, but one thing that I did say is that, if your brother's hurt and he's coming to us for comfort, let him come to us. You can still come over and see how he's doing and tell him that you're sorry he's hurt, or pat him on the back or give him a hug. But if he's coming to us to get that help, that's actually a good thing. And we want you to be a part of it, but we don't want you to have to worry every single time something happens to him. It doesn't help that her sibling got hurt a lot. He was always bumping into something or tripping or falling or, just generally getting little bumps and bruises. And it was always a really big deal to him. So we knew that in that situation, it was better if we kind of stepped in and we took care of things rather than having her do it, because she would often be so worried about him, it would make him more upset, and he would think there was something truly, truly wrong when it was really just like a tiny little scratch or there's no mark at all. And so we knew that that was for his best interest, for him to come to us and rely on us for that type of situation. And that's going to look different in every family, what you think that the adult role should be versus the kid. But another thing would be like if the younger sibling was being picked on at school, bullied in some way, a lot of times an older sibling might swoop in and try to take care of that their own way, like using really harsh words to someone or even getting in a physical fight. Thankfully, we have not had that situation, but I know that that's common. And just explaining to them that you can handle talking to the school, making sure things happen if that child is being bullied, and that you really appreciate them standing up for their sibling, and they can still do that, but we're not going to take justice into our own hands, because that's the parent's role to pursue that. And you might have different opinions on those things, and that's okay. You need to decide in your family what is a parent role and what is a kid role. This third one, I have to say, might be one of the very most important things to do, which is to build trust. So I don't know if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but if not, I'm going to put it here on the screen really quick. This is a model that explains humans' needs and how we actually can achieve success in our lives. And it all starts down here at this foundation. And if you look at it, the base of this pyramid is physiological needs. So we have breathing, clothes, water, food, and sleep, and shelter. And now you might think, well, obviously they can breathe, obviously they have water, obviously they have a house. I shouldn't have to worry about that part. But the truth is, you have to realize that kids in foster care didn't always have all of those things. Many foster kids went without food at times in their lives. Many of them may have been without home, or they may have had shelter, but it wasn't home. It was moving place to place. They never knew when they were going to be able to stay or leave. Just such a lack of stability. And so as adoptive parents, we really have to focus in on the bottom of that pyramid when our kids first move in with us. We have to prove to them over and over and over again that we are going to meet those most basic needs they have. And then we work up this pyramid. Now, I would say when your children first move into your home, you're kind of stuck on that lower pyramid for now. You're stuck on those bottom 3 tiers. So we have the physiological needs, then we have safety and security, and then there's the love and belonging category. But you can't get up the pyramid without first meeting the base level. And my opinion is that if you want your child to be able to fully release those parentified roles and give them back to you, you have to at least have already met the bottom 2 tiers of that pyramid, because that next one is safety and security, which is like, as it sounds, being safe and secure. And that both means in a practical way and in an emotional way. So you have people in your life, some sort of social circle that keeps you a little bit safe. You have your health, and those bottom 2 tiers are called your basic needs. And unfortunately, a lot of our kids in foster care have not had those met. And so you as the adoptive parent want to focus so much on building those. And that's just going to take you keeping your promises over and over and over again. It's going to show them that you're going to remember the important things. You're going to pick them up from school on time. You're going to remember papers. And yes, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to forget things sometimes. But overall, you are not making promises you can't keep. And now all I can think of is that line from Beauty and the Beast where they're like roses, chocolates, promises you can't keep. That's what I'm thinking. Don't make those. Don't make promises you can't keep. And also, along with that safety element of the basic needs, you need to make sure that your child feels safe and secure. And that can also mean with the way that you speak to them. So how do you speak to them when you're frustrated? Are you screaming? Are you yelling? That can be extremely triggering for kids who have been through trauma. So just reminding yourself to follow through on your promises, to have a calm and in control demeanor, all of those things will help your parentified child work towards releasing some of those roles. Second to last thing on my list is that you should have a gradual transition of roles when you're helping your parentified child kind of let go of things. Let that parentified child still help with certain roles in the house, especially at the beginning, and gradually kind of hand them over and gradually take on those roles more and more and more as the parent, but you're allowing them to have certain parts of it, because you can't expect this to correct itself overnight. You can't be like, hey, for a whole week, I have given you food and shelter and water and clothing, and I was kind to you. I made sure you were safe. So what gives? Why aren't you just handing over all these roles to me now? It's not going to happen like that. It took a long time for your child to develop those parentified roles. It's going to take a long time for them to release them as well. We are 4 years into this process, and it still happens every so often. Very rarely at this point, but I mean, it still can happen at times. And I think we've done a lot of proving that we're there and we're safe and we can do those things. But it's not something that's just going to disappear. There will be periods of regression, especially if your child is stressed or worried about something. It just can happen. You know, I think something that can really help with this gradual transition of roles is to give the parentified child ways that they can help and ways that they can still take care of the younger child. Like maybe if the child hurts themselves and needs a Band-Aid, they're the one who go and get the Band-Aid for you so you can put it on the child, and then they give their sibling a hug. Or maybe if their sibling is being bullied at school, like we mentioned earlier, they can stand up and say, hey, you can't talk to my brother like that, or you can't talk to my sister like that. But that's where they're going to leave it, and they're going to come home and tell you so that you can take care of it in a more appropriate way. A really specific example from our experience is that our son really struggled with nighttime issues when he was younger. Like, he would have a lot of nightmares, or he'd sleepwalk a little bit, or talk in his sleep, or he would just wake up sometimes really afraid because of the dreams that he had. And at the point when he first moved in, he didn't feel as comfortable with us yet because we were still brand new to him. The house was still new to him. It was kind of scary to like walk through the house to find us. There were just a lot of reasons. So we actually got permission from the caseworkers to allow our older two kids to share a room, even though it's a boy and a girl combo and their age was a little too old to be able to do that according to the rules. I'm so glad that they allowed that, because what that gave our kids was it gave our kids a way that at night, if he had a nightmare, he could go tell his sister and she would be right there, and she was overjoyed to be the person to be there for him. For those first several months, that was really a sense of comfort to our son and to our daughter, because she knew that she was there to help him in the middle of the night. She didn't have to worry about what was happening to him. He was right there, and she had some sense of control and safety because of that. And then eventually we had them switch, and we had the girls shared a room and our son had his own room. And what's so interesting is like during that shift, it was just very natural that he started coming to us when he had nightmares, when he had things going on. And so I really think that was a good move, even though I wasn't sure at first. I do think it kind of helped them gradually adjust and feel safe, and then be like, okay, we can trust these people because they've allowed us to stay close and to help each other, and they're not trying to pull us apart in any way. And it was really funny because our son, who used to be so reliant on his older sister, actually started really enjoying having his own room and his own space, because he is the only introverted child in our family. So I think he was like, okay, the girls are a little loud. I can have my own space now. This is perfect. All right. And the fifth one, the very last one, how you can help your parentified older child is to give them space to be a kid. Sign them up for activities that they can do with kids their age that their sibling is not a part of. This is going to allow them to meet peers, which sometimes can be hard. Peer relationships can be hard for kids who are adopted because they've been through trauma that other kids oftentimes have not experienced and can't understand. But putting them in these activities where they can find something they enjoy, that they share that enjoyment with a peer, automatically helps form some connections. And it also gives them a time period where they're away, completely separate from their younger sibling, and they just get to think about themselves. They don't have to worry about their sibling or constantly be hypervigilant. They just get to be a kid. I think too, if your child's old enough, sending them to camp and allowing them to have that experience where they can go away for a few days or for a week and just be a kid and not have to be in charge of anyone else, that can really help them let go too, because they come back and they realize their sibling had a great time at home doing things here. And so that can be really helpful as well, to kind of give them their own sense of self and who they are. And then also as a parent, spend some time with that older child. Set aside time to spend with them, to do activities that are age appropriate for them. That might be activities that like a younger kid, like their sibling, wouldn't do. Spend that quality time with them, and that's going to build up that trust and bond so much more. It's going to make all of this a lot easier. So there you have it. Those are my tips for how to help the parentified older child in a sibling adoption. That is a mouthful, but I hope you found it helpful. If you enjoyed this video in any way, or if it helped you, if you could click the like button and also subscribe to the channel, that would be great. And even better would be to go join my group. So the link is in the description to join the group. You have a couple of weeks from the time that this video goes out, but I cannot wait to see you in there. I will be in there to say hello and greet you and get to know you. So yeah, I cannot wait. Anyway, I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next week with another video.